But the reason why I want to talk about the MLB season recap and playoff predictions and talk about the playoffs, obviously sports is one of the tenets of topics we're willing to talk about. Okay. And obviously in America, we have three major sports leagues: baseball, MLB, basketball, NBA, football, NFL. And I feel like when it comes to the season starting in one of those sports and leagues, we talk about it. Also, feel like whenever the playoffs are about to happen in any one of those sports, we should talk about it. So obviously, the playoffs for the MLB baseball start technically tomorrow with the first wild card game. So I feel like that needs to be a topic.
I don't. There's just one problem, Jason.
Mhm.
I don't give a shit about anything related to the MLB playoffs right now.
Well, see, now I recognize that as a problem because, like I just said, that is still one of the three major sports in our country. So,
Right,
so,
but
so hang on. So
you
we
can't make me care. That's the point.
Okay. How much stuff did we talk about that I didn't care about? So that's the thing, though. That's I understand it's important for us to have knowledge and actually care about stuff. But the fact of the matter is, we can't just not talk about one of the major sports and only talk about the NBA and NFL.
I mean, I could see if it was a week in which we didn't have a sports topic, but we objectively have other sports topics.
Okay. And again, this wouldn't okay, and fair enough, but this also wouldn't be the first time we've had three sports topics for an episode before.
Right. But with Jason, what I'm saying is I think there's more compelling segments in the hopper.
Okay, and a lot of which can be saved till next week.
Right. But I can assure you I will not be magically more interested in talking about baseball next week.
Okay, but that's my whole point though.
And I'm not saying that I'm never going to talk baseball again. What I'm saying is or that I'm not trying to, hog tie you to this.
Well, you're kind of. Well, it's not even just about me, man. But what I'm saying is, so okay, all right. So let me ask you this, and I understand your point about whatever. But what I'm going to say is, okay, so if the playoffs of the sport isn't worth talking about, so then what other incidents will we talk about? Anything Major League Baseball related? If it's not the playoffs.
I mean, I would say in Major League Baseball, definitely steroids. The affinity for calling out drug use. We talked about the sign stealing. The unwritten rules for crying out loud. Like, dude, we have given baseball its due in 25 episodes. I'm sorry, 24. I don't want to speak out of turn here.
Okay,
baseball, Mason Ross. Baseball is getting its due.
Compared to football and basketball, though,
those sports are more popular.
Okay,
but
that doesn't necessarily mean that that's not good. It doesn't necessarily mean that our listeners don't care about that, because I know people that do listen to us that actually do like baseball.
Okay,
and watch baseball.
Why don't we do a poll and say
probably our number one fan to be, specifically, or tied for number one fan, but
it's not a beauty contest, my guy.
Well,
I'm just saying, like, why don't you put it up to a poll? Would you rather us talk about baseball or football? And see where the chips fall.
Well, we ain't got time for that because the playoffs start tomorrow. So it's either we talk about it tomorrow or we're not going to talk about it at all.
I would prefer to not talk about it.
Well, see, and that's where we're going to have a problem.
I mean,
okay. Well, let me stop you this. Why? Okay. Okay. Let me ask you this, because this is where I fall short. I need to ask you about. I need to ask you about your feelings. Why don't you want to talk about baseball?
Because that's not where my head's at right now. Why would you ask a Cubs fan who, honestly, I'm glad the fucking year's over because they gutted this squad, and they're trying to sell us on hope for next year. So I get it. You being a White Sox fan, you want to talk about it. I get it. But that doesn't mean that's going to make for a compelling 20 to 25 minutes for this show.
And there's your mistake right there.
Not to mention, one of the last times we actually did a segment, it was not the most elegant exchange in the history of Cal Park Bros.
First of all,
It
mistake
was not
one, mistake one,
objectively.
mistake. Okay, mistake one was assuming that I'm going to make this about the White Sox, which I wasn't. Obviously, I'm going to talk about them, yes, because they are in the playoffs. But guess what? There's several other teams in the playoffs, and it wasn't about that. I was going to again talk about the season as a whole, and then go into the playoff part of it as well. That's easily can be 20 minutes, easy. So
Here's
that's
the
not an
thing.
issue there. Three,
Here's the
two,
thing. Go
two.
ahead.
So now you're telling me that you don't want to talk about it because you're making it about your team. Just because the Cubs aren't in it, all of a sudden you want to talk about it. Okay, so fair enough. So then when it comes to the NFL playoffs this year, when it comes around, we're not going to talk about it because the Bears aren't in it.
I mean, I really feel that's a false equivalency argument. And again, I already stated football
It's not,
NFL is more popular than baseball.
it's not what it,
So
no. It's not false equivalency. So I'm asking you. So when the NFL playoffs happen this year, when the Bears aren't in it, are we not going to talk about it?
we're gonna talk about it no matter what because it's the fucking NFL. It's the NFL and then it's everybody else.
Okay, so then we're not going to talk the NBA then either, because since they're not the NFL.
I mean, if you want to have a fucking temper tantrum about it, I mean,
Well, because what you're saying doesn't make sense. I understand you don't want to talk about it. Okay, but when it comes to other stuff, apply that to NBA and NFL
I don't have to apply it to that scenario. Like, I could see if we had literally had nothing else to talk about.
because we don't.
No, you just would really rather talk about it. Just lead with that. Instead of trying to downplay the other options,
Okay, well,
just say, I really want to talk about this segment this week. And if we don't talk about it this week, it'll be a wasted opportunity.
all right, I did say that.
I feel like you didn't.
Actually, I did. Well, okay, again, well, this is record. We can go back and play this. But I actually did say that. I said it twice. That obviously, if we don't talk about it today, then we're not going to talk about it because the playoffs start tomorrow.
I
Did I
mean,
not say that twice?
Jason, a week from now, will the first round of games even be, oh yeah, you got the wild card. Okay. You didn't say that until just now.
I just told you twice that the playoffs start tomorrow.
Playoffs don't necessarily equal wild card.
That's
And
still part of the playoffs.
I'm not disagreeing with that part. I'm simply stating you hadn't made a compelling argument for, oh, we need to talk about this because there's one game wild card events.
I told you that tomorrow, that the playoffs start tomorrow. What
That's
more do I
not
need to say? The playoffs start tomorrow.
that is not detailed enough. Had you said that, I said, oh, well, now I kind of understand.
Why do you need more details beyond the playoffs start tomorrow?
Because I'm literally telling you, had you said it like this, I would have been more receptive.
Okay. So the wild card game's tomorrow.
Now I care magically. Yeah,
Why does
maybe
that make a difference as opposed to the playoffs, the entire thing starting tomorrow, as opposed to the one game starting
because
tomorrow?
that because
It's the
that's
same
actually
concept.
obviously not for the casual fan. It's not. That's what I'm trying to explain to you.
Okay. So when the wild card games are over after Wednesday, you're not going to care because it's just the playoffs at that point. It's not the wild card's important on Tuesday and Wednesday, but not Thursday.
Let's see. Postseason schedule. Here you go.
Yeah, I know. One wild card game Tuesday, other Wednesday. First games or not first games, but playoff games on Thursday too.
And that's best of it's 1-1, correct?
Yep, one game you're out for the wild card. Yep.
Okay. See, had you provided me this level of detail, all right, because the Cardinals just let me finish. Just let me finish. Can you do that? I'm literally on the MLB.com page now. You got me to care. You got me to care enough to at least look at the shit. Whereas before you didn't. All right. I see the Yankees versus the Red Sox. Okay. These are compelling. That's a compelling narrative. Cardinals versus the Dodgers. Compelling narrative. Okay. And then, all right. Okay. All right. We can do a segment on that. And if you want to, let's see. I feel like if you want to get the best out of me for this MLB section, you better make it number one. I that's just my unsolicited feedback.
All right. Tell you what. Let's do this.
What?
What I can do instead, because this will actually kind of make a little sense. What I can do, I can make this the MLB playoffs the topic for my next monologue. And I can put that out. I can get that released by tomorrow. That way that's done. And we can move that out of the show and move back in the Super Bowl halftime show. How about we do that?
I mean,
that way I get to talk about baseball. It's still representative of the show, but that way you don't have to talk about it. How about that?
But the whole premise was getting me to care. And then now you're saying that I'm off the hook. That's weird.
Well, you know what?
I mean, I've already committed to caring now.
Well, actually, but this actually solves three problems. So I think it would be a better idea. I've been looking for extra stuff to do monologue stuff on, so this is a perfect next one.
So you're saying that you no longer want the MLB deal?
Nope. I want a topic on there that you'll care about, but it still gives us a chance to talk about the MLB stuff. That's actually perfect.